Difference between Docker image and Docker container. Docker images and Docker containers are key concepts in Docker's architecture, but they serve distinct purposes. Here's a detailed explanation. 1. Docker image. Definition. A Docker image is a lightweight, standalone, and immutable template used to create Docker containers. It contains everything required to run an application, including operating system libraries and dependencies, application code, configuration files, runtime environments like Python, Java, etc. Characteristics. Read-only. Docker images are static and cannot be modified once created. Reusable. A single image can be reused to create multiple containers. Layered. Built-in layers, with each layer representing a change or instruction in the Docker file. Layers make images efficient, as Docker caches unchanged layers. Creation. Docker images are built using a Docker file, which contains a sequence of instructions. Example.
Docker file.
From Ubuntu latest. Run apt-get update and apt-get install y Python 3. Copy app py/app/ cmd Python 3/app/app py. The above Docker file creates an image with Ubuntu, Python 3, and a Python script. Storage. Stored in Docker registries like Docker Hub or private repositories. Identified by a unique name and tag, e.g., myapp 1.0. Usage. Images are the blueprint for running containers. To run an image, Docker run myapp 1.0. 2. Docker container. Definition. A Docker container is a runtime instance of a Docker image. It is the actual execution environment where the application runs. Characteristics. Mutable. Containers are writable and allow changes during runtime, e.g., adding files, modifying settings. These changes, however, are not saved to the original image unless committed to a new image. Isolated. Containers are isolated from the host system and other containers. This ensures security and prevents conflicts. Ephemeral. Containers are typically temporary and can be stopped, deleted, or restarted as needed. Any changes made inside the container are lost once it is removed unless volumes are used for persistence. Lifecycle. Creation. A container is created from an image. Docker create myapp 1.0. Start. The container starts running the application. Docker start, container underscore. Stop. The container can be stopped. Docker stop, container underscore. Remove. The container can be deleted. Docker rm, container underscore. Usage. Containers are the execution units of applications. Example. Docker run d p8080:18 Jinx. This command runs in Jinx container in detached mode and maps port 8080 on the host to port 80 in the container. Key differences. Definition. Docker image, a blueprint or template for creating containers. Docker container, a running instance of a Docker image.
State.
Docker image, static and immutable read-only. Docker container, dynamic and mutable read/write. Purpose. Docker image, used to create containers. Docker container, used to run applications. Creation. Docker image, built using a Docker file. Docker container, created from a Docker image. Lifecycle. Docker image, persistent and stored in a registry. Docker container, ephemeral, exists until stopped or removed. Storage. Docker image, stored in Docker Hub, private registries, or locally. Docker container, exists in memory or the local system temporarily. Isolation. Docker image, not applicable, it is a template only. Docker container, provides process-level isolation. Example commands. Docker image. Docker pulm Jinx latest. Docker container. Docker run Jinx latest. Think of a Docker image as a recipe and a Docker container as the dish prepared using the recipe. The image recipe provides the instructions and ingredients to create the application. The container dish is the execution or result of following that recipe. Conclusion. Docker image, the static, reusable blueprint of an application environment. Docker container, the dynamic, isolated runtime environment created from an image where the application is executed. Thanks, subscribe for more such videos.